Fabulous job. We're just going to go on to our toast. So I will invite Mark back just to finish our toasts for the evening. And then here, on the rest.
Just had to go clean my dirt. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to be your Toastmaster General for this evening. As with traditional Burns suppers, the toasts for the evening always begin with the toast to the Queen. So I would ask you to charge your glasses and stand with me. To the Queen and Canada. I'd ask you to remain standing for a moment. As most of you know, His Royal Highness Prince William, heir to the throne, is to be married this upcoming April to his fiancée, Kate Middleton. In honor of that auspicious occasion, I would ask that you raise your glasses again and toast to the happy couple, to Prince William and Kate. To Prince William and Kate. They say there's none more Scots than the Scots o' law. Those of us who are gathered here this evening do so out of a fondness for our Scottish heritage. Whether we are fresh off the boat or we have Scottish-Canadian roots that go back for generations, we share a common yearning to hie back hame and visit the old ground. I had the opportunity a few years ago to visit a little hamlet called Ratho Station in Midlothian, Scotland. And I was able to actually find the house that my father was born in. Quite a moving moment for me. If you had the opportunity to go back to Scotland, even for the first time, you'd understand what I mean when I say that while we are away, we are still connected to the old ground. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the homeland, to Scotland. Please be seated. Despite the extreme poverty of his family, Burns' father ensured that he had a good education in his early years. For most of his life, Burns had to work hard on the farm, undernourished and out in all weathers, the result of which that he died in poverty at the tragically young age of 37. And yet, over 10,000 people attended his funeral. Tonight, I would like to take you on a brief tour of the immortal genius that made so many people mourn his passing. Let us begin with the tiniest aspect of his genius. In Ode to a Louse, Burns, after watching a louse burying its way into the hair of an attractive young woman sitting on a pew in front of him in church, chastises the creature for having such nerve. Ha! Where are you gone, you prowling fairly? Your impudence protects you sairly. I canna say you struck rarely o'er gauze and face, though faith, I hear ye die but sparely on such a place. Of course, Burns being Burns, he does point out that to the louse it doesn't matter how posh the host is, a scalp is a scalp. Actually, the girl in question turns out to be not as posh as first described. In fact, she's probably a special friend of Robbie's, called Jenny, and she was dressed in her Sunday best. Let's go a little bigger. In To a Mouse, which we will hear in its entirety later on in the evening, in To a Mouse, Burns recognizes the plight of a mouse whose nest he has overturned with a plow, as being very similar to his own desperate existence as a poor tenant farmer. He appeals to the tiny animal not to be afraid, and that indeed the two beings, with so much in common, should not have anything to fear from each other. We sleeked, coward and timorous beastie, but what a panic is in thy breastie, thou needna start away sae hasty with bickering prattle. I would be laith to rin and chase thee with murdering prattle. John Steinbeck, one of America's greatest writers, borrowed a line from this poem to use for the title of his great work of Mice and Men. A powerful and moving portrayal of the trials and tribulations of poor migrant farmers in the California of the Great Depression. Let us now move up to the size of a single man. To Burns, all men are born equal, and a man's worth does not depend on the weight of his purse or the acreage of his estate. This is his most famously stated in the song, A Man's a Man for All That, which is what we pipe the haggis in traditionally each year with. Is there for honest poverty that hangs his head and all that? A coward slave, we pass him by, we dare not be poor for all that. For all that and all that, our toils obscure and all that, the rank is but a guinea stamp, the man's the gowd for all that. Upsizing again, we come to Burns' poetry describing the nature of the love that can exist between two people. In A Fond Kiss, he brilliantly encapsulates both the ecstasy and pain of love. He reduces everything to one basic and overpowering emotion, the emotion of having loved and then having to part. Sir Walter Scott commented that in this poem, Burns sums up the essence of 1,000 love tales, and furthermore, this one verse is worth 1,000 romances. A fond kiss, and then we sever. A farewell, and then forever. Deep in heart-wrung tears I'll pledge thee, warring sighs and groans I'll wage thee. Who shall say that fortune grieves him, while the star of hope she leaves him? Me, nay, cheerful twinkle lights me, dark despair around benights me. I'd like to conclude with the example of Burns' genius that we are all familiar with, and at the same time, Burns, at his biggest, is most universal. As the bells chime to usher in a new year, around the world, millions sing his words of brotherhood and hope. And there's a handmaid trusty file, and he's a hand of thine. We'll take a right kind Billy Watt for all Black Sign. That's right. So there we are, the genius of the man who could appreciate the world from its smallest and meanest to the bigger picture, to its most profound. Burns, at once the nationalist through his language and internationalist through his ideals. Thanks for listening, and I think it's time, again, ladies and gentlemen, to charge your glasses, be upstanding, and drink a right good Billy Drop to the immortal memory of the bard, Robbie Burns. Robbie Burns. And now I'll turn things back over to the sheriff.
Thank you, Mark. That was wonderful. Very nice. All right, we're just about ready for our meal. So
some would eat that want, but we hae meat and weak need. Say, Lord, be thanked. Amen.
Thank you very much. Okay, and we'll start our supper now. What table